Okay. Yeah. Also, please participants mute yourself in case of Murat Vignesh. Please mute yourself. In case of any doubt, you can unmute. Thanks for your Keshav. Matesh, please mute. In our yesterday's session, today is the session 2. In our yesterday's session, what we have discussed is we have started our discussion on what is cloud computing. The agenda for today's session is we are going to start the discussion on the storage perspective of Amazon, AWS storage components. So in terms of storage has been concerned, there are 4 types of storage in Amazon. One is Amazon Instance Store. The second type of storage is Amazon EBS, Elastic Block Store. EBS stands for Elastic Block Store. In our yesterday's discussion, we have discussed about this Elastic Block Store, how to create the EBS volume and how to attach and how to detach the volume, what we have discussed in yesterday's session. Okay, today focus is going to be on the third type of storage, Amazon S3. S3 stands for Amazon Simple Storage Service. Amazon Simple Storage Service. And fourth part, which is the archival storage, we call it as a Glacier. It is used for storing archive data. Now we have another type of storage, EFS, Elastic File Store, which is nothing but similar to that of SAN storage. They have added a new storage within a span of 1 or 2 months. That is EFS, Elastic File Store, which is a SAN. These are all the basic storages associated with Amazon. Okay, so here, let me start with this instance and EBS and go on to discussion on this S3. You already know, okay, you have your instance launched in the data center. Okay, this is your data center. In the data center, what we did, here we connected to this Amazon data center, US West data center. Under the data center, we have launched a Ubuntu. We have launched a Ubuntu server yesterday. Okay, Ubuntu 16.04. And for that Ubuntu, it is assigned a hard disk capacity of 8 GB. Okay, we have assigned a hard disk capacity of 8 GB. So this is your physical server on the data center. Okay, this is your physical server on the data center. So assume that your physical server is having a hard disk of 10 terabyte. So here, instance store instance, if the hard disk, yeah, if yesterday's session will be shared to you, okay, so within 1 hour, today's session and yesterday's session will be uploaded, and those information will be shared in this. You can go through, and you can contact me further. So here, if you didn't attend yesterday, it will be difficult for you to follow. Just follow. Some concept may not be understandable to you. Why? Because yesterday itself we had a discussion of around 1.5 hours, under which I had discussed about the basics of cloud. Okay, so just follow today. Here, the hard disk which is assigned to this Ubuntu. Here we call this computer as an instance. The computer we launched in cloud has been termed as the instance. Here the instance is launched with 8 GB storage. If this 8 GB storage, this associated storage is not a physical storage. It is not a 8 GB physical hard disk assigned to the instance. It is a virtual hard disk. Where you can assign this virtual hard disk? From 2 things. One, you can get this virtual hard disk from this physical server or in your storage, in your data center itself. Imagine this is your data center. You will be having a NAS box containing a lot of storage. You may heard about this NAS storage. You may have a separate storage server. I will show how a NAS box will look like. Okay, so go to Google. Simply type EMC storage box. This is the NAS box, storage box. You will be having a separate box for storage. These are all hard disks. Hard disk will be hosted. Then your server will be here. Epic. Okay, you will have this server. The server may have a physical hard disk. On top of the physical server, you have launched this Ubuntu. The storage for Ubuntu either can be assigned from the physical server or it can be assigned from this storage box. This is an example of a storage box. You have a bunch of hard disks. So, for example, imagine a hard disk with 10 GB. If you want to assign a hard disk for this virtual machine, you can map this hard disk. These are all the two ways by which a hard disk can be assigned to your virtual machine, what we have discussed in our yesterday's session. So here, if the hard disk is assigned from the physical server on top of where the virtual machine has been launched in your data center, your virtual machine, that is, this is your virtual machine VM. The virtual machine in a cloud, we call it as an instance. If the storage assigned to the instance, here in this case 8 GB, is taken from the storage of your physical server. Imagine the physical server, which is a higher-end server containing a 10 terabyte of storage. Here in 10 terabyte storage, a LAN of size 8 GB will be created, and if it is assigned to the Ubuntu, that sort of storage has been termed as instance storage. Yes, if you have a storage box, like what I had shown to you, okay, if you have a storage box and you assign a hard disk from the storage box, okay, for example, imagine the hard disk of size 8 GB. If you assign a hard disk from the storage box and mapped to your instance, that storage has been termed as EBS. This is the way by which the instance store and EBS differs by. Okay. Yes, this storage, instance storage and EBS, we call this storage as a block storage, block level storage. Whereas this type of storage, we call it as a object storage. And what is the differences between storing your data in instance store and storing your data in EBS? Okay, now you know the difference between instance store and EBS. Now let me discuss the difference. Okay, if you have your data in instance store, then if you terminate this instance, what happens to your data? So if you have your data in your instance store, if you terminate the instance, the data will be also terminated. The lifetime of the data here is associated with the lifetime of your instance. Data persistence, we call this feature as a data persistence technically. Data will be persist up to the time the instance is live. When an instance is down, automatically the data will be deleted if it is an instance store. Then what sort of data that you will be storing in instance store? So only the data associated with your operating system files. If you run your instance and if you have your instance stored back volume, then all the associated OS files alone will be stored here. So the OS files, you won't need the operating system when an instance is terminated. So what is the advantage of having your data in this instance store compared to that of having your data in a EBS? The advantage is it is very, very fast. It will in terms of read and write. This is your physical server. Okay. On top of it, you created this Ubuntu instance. VM. This VM we call it as an instance. The hard disk for that instance is got from the physical server. Okay. If that is the case, so being it is a physical server and the virtual machine is launched on the same system, the reading and write, if you have data stored in this hard disk of the physical server, this VM can able to perform the read and write in a very, very quicker manner. Compare the another solution. Here you have a separate storage box. The storage box containing a bunch of hard disks, what I had shown. If you have your data stored here, each and every time the data needs to be read and it needs to be brought from to the instance. Both this storage box and this physical server may be connected using a switch. Then the data need to transfer towards the switch to reach this virtual machine. Therefore, it will be a time consuming. Okay. So if you want the read and write activity to be fast, then your option should be instance store. So here all the OS related files will be stored. If you terminate the instance, if it is an instance store, the data will be terminated. Whereas if you store your data in a NAS box, NAS stands for network attached storage. Here, even if you terminate the instance, your data will be there. At later stages, you can create another instance and you can attach the data. Here, it is similar to your NAS box storing data in your NAS box. Here we call this as a EBS storage, elastic block store. EBS block store is similar to having your data in your pen drive or having your data in your external hard disk. Okay, these are all the ways by which your data storage in terms of the instance store and EBS differs by. What we have discussed yesterday is EBS. Okay, what we did, we have initially created a Ubuntu, okay, with a single hard disk. Laterly, what we did, we have created a new hard disk, a 1 gigabyte of hard disk, and attached the hard disk to this Ubuntu instance. And laterly, we have detached the hard disk laterally, attachment and detachment that we have practiced. Okay, so this hard disk, where they get the hard disk, they got the hard disk from a NAS box, a network attached storage. Okay, so here, even though if you terminate the instance, the data will be retained there. At later stages, you can make use of the data. That is the difference between going up with these two. Here, for both the thing, for instance store as well as for EBS store, what you need to do, you want to associate with the instance. Your hard disk need to be associated with the instance. That is, you need to connect your hard disk with the computer. Then only you can able to perform a read or write activity. The third type of storage that we are going to discuss today is S3. Here, this is your instance. Okay, this is your Ubuntu instance that I launched in my on top of a physical server in my data center. Okay, here you have a separate storage box. Yeah, sandbox. The storage may be a SAN storage. Under the storage, you may have your data. Okay, you may have your data here. Here, if you put the data here, this storage where we are talking about S3, we call this as a object storage. What do you mean by object? The object can be any multimedia object. It can be an audio file. It can be a video file. It can be an image. It can be a document, huge document, PDF, anything that you can put it as an object. Okay, in this storage, if you upload any object, what happens here is the URL will be assigned to an object. So here, if you want to share this object to other people, you want to share this URL. Okay, the other people can make use of their laptop or the mobile. They can open a web browser and they can type the URL without being connected to this Amazon cloud. Those people can able to view the objects. Okay, that is the advantage of storing the data in S3. That is, you no need to associate your data. No need to associate your data with the computer. Okay, you no need to associate your data with the computer. Am I audible to all? Kesav, Makesh, Mokan, am I audible?
Yes,
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, Raman.
Yeah. Somebody couldn't able to audible. Okay. Kesav, Kiran, Kausik, Makesh, please. If you get stuck with any issues in audio, please let me know in the chat window. Okay, so I can change accordingly.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks for
yeah, Raman, sure.
yeah, yes.
We'll let you know.
Also, if you have any doubt, you please also stop me, and once clarification, we can proceed. Yes, yeah. Thank you. Now, in terms the difference between the above said two things. If you have your data, okay, stored in Kaushik, you alone facing the problem. You please restart. Facing audio problem. Kindly reconnect. The problem will be solved. Kaushik, this is for you. The difference between having your data in instant store and EBS compared to that of S3 is, here it need to be attached with the instance. Both instance store and EBS need to be attached with an instance, whereas S3 is a separate storage. You may attach, you may not attach. You have a separate storage. Okay, so it is optional. Attaching an instance is optional. Attached to a computer is optional. So if you load any data, automatically a URL will be created. That you can share the URL to the people to which you are interested to share the particular object. So from their desktop computer or from the laptop or from the tablet, what they can do, if they simply open a web browser and if they type the URL, automatically it will be viewable by them. So that is the way by which you can able to share the data associated with this S3. Okay. So usually S3 is used for storing multimedia data. If you have a large volume of data, you can make use of storing the data. And that is the third type of storage S3. The fourth type of storage is Glacier, which is a archival storage. The processing and storage associated with the S3 and Glacier is more or less the same. But S3, in terms of cost, for example, if you want to pay 5 rupees for storing 1 GB of data per month in S3, the same thing in Glacier, it will be 50 paise, only 50 paise only. It is almost 10:1. What is the reason behind that? The reason behind that is in Glacier, being the Glacier is made up of using a commodity hardware. Okay, so the time taken for reading and write, if you have your object stored, the time taken for read and write will be minimum of 3 hours. Will be minimum of 3 hours. Please wait. Kaushik is having certain issues. We start now. I am letting you know the differences. Okay. Now you know the difference between this instant store and EBS. Now the difference between this instant store EBS and S3. Now we are going to discuss about the difference between S3 and Glacier. First difference is being Glacier is made up of commodity. Commodity means low cost hardware. Low cost hardware. Because of the reason, here the read and write will be very slow compared to that of having your data in S3. So minimum it took minimum of 3 hours to upload or download your object from your Glacier. So under which circumstances, under which scenario you will be using Glacier to store object. If you want to store RQ data, the data which is not subjected for frequent retrieval, and the data which is not subjected to any further modification. For example, in a hospital, if the hospital want to maintain the X-rays and MR scans, scan reports, and some other reports of patients, the past history of patients, instead of storing those data in S3, they can store the data in the Glacier. Also because it is not a time critical data. When they want to refer the data, they can wait for up to 2 to 3 hours for retrieval. If you are going to work with some real-time data, which is a time-intense activity, you can't store those data in Glacier. If you want the data immediately to be viewable for read or write activity, in that circumstances, you need to pay a little bit more and you need to choose S3 as the option. These are all the differences associated with S3 and Glacier. Okay, so usually in real-time scenarios, you will be having your data in S3. So initially, you specify some policies, life cycle policies. So the life cycle, based upon that life cycle policies, in S3 you have another option called reduced redundancy. You have an option called another option, infrequent access storage. And laterly you can move the data to Glacier. You can specify life cycle rule. Step, initially you load the data in S3. Let the data be in S3 for 30 days. After that, you move the data to infrequent access storage. Let the data be there in 60 days. Difference between having your data in default S3, a normal and infrequent access storage is, it will be little bit less efficient in terms of reading and writing. And laterly, after 6 days, you place the data in Glacier. Let the data be there for 1 year. After 1 year, you simply remove the data. This is the way by which usually each and every organization will manage the data in forms of storing from S3 into this Glacier. Okay, so we will have all those associated discussions in our real time. How to write these life cycle rules, how to move data, migrate data from S3 to infrequent or reduced redundancy, and how to move the data into Glacier, how to move the data after from Glacier, how to remove the data. Everything will be taught live practical. Now our discussion is going to be how to store the data in a S3. In S3, we are going up with the following concept. We need to aware of a concept called as bucket. A bucket is nothing but similar to your directory in your operating system. Under directory only you will be storing all your files. Okay. So what is directory? A directory is nothing but a container under which you will store all files. Similarly, a bucket is also a container under which you can store all the associated files that you wish to upload to the Amazon. Okay, it is a bucket. The bucket should be unique. The name of the bucket should be unique name throughout the region where you have created. Yesterday we have discussed about this region. What is region? Region is the location where we have the data center. If we create a bucket in Mumbai region, and the bucket name should be unique throughout the Mumbai region. If another person has created a bucket with the same name, you can't make use of the name. Okay, that is the constraint, first constraint. So you can store an object any of any size. At the maximum, you can store a file up to 5 terabyte in size. A file of 5 terabyte in size. Maximum size of a file that you can store is 5 terabyte. Okay. Starting from minimum 1 byte up to maximum, we can store 5 terabyte of file in your bucket. Let me directly connect with the bucket and I will let you know how to create a bucket and how to store an object into the bucket and how to share the object to all participants and how to create bucket rules that allow or deny access to the bucket. Let I currently make a connection to this Amazon data center now. Okay, let I make a connection to my data center with my account credentials www.aws.amazon.com. Click on my account on AWS Management Console. Here, yesterday what we have discussed is EC2. How to create an instance and how to connect with the instance we have discussed. Okay, this is the instance that we have created. Demo Ubuntu. Okay, I have stopped the instance. If you want to work with, you click on this action. You can start the instance. Click on instance. You can start the instance. Okay, yes, start. So up to the period, yesterday we have discussed, we have stopped the instance around 1:30 afternoon. Today it is 12:20. Up to now, the period where I stopped up to now started, I no need to pay for the instance. Now you can find the instance will start running. Now from the pending state, it is in the running state. Let I connect to the instance. So for that, what we need to do, to go to this DNS, go to PuTTY, So new participants, you may feel a little bit difficult. Why is it? Because we have a discussion of how to create an instance and how to connect the instance yesterday. After today's discussion, I will share you the both video. You can go through that. Stopped instance means you can Mohan, you can start the instance. If you are terminated the instance, you can't able to work with the instance. Instance will be completely demolished. That is the difference. You can stop and you can start laterally when you want. If you have terminated, you can't do anything. Now I am going to make a connection. Authentication, browse, choose the key, open, open. Yes. So what is the default username? Ubuntu. UBUNTU, Ubuntu. Now I got connected to my instance. Yes, good. This is the instance where we have launched yesterday. Okay, this is the instance where we have launched yesterday. If you type ls, you can find a file that we have created yesterday has been shown here. Yes, a test file that we have created. Welcome to Amazon Cloud. It will be retained here. So that is the here what we did. We have a Java configured with this. So Java hyphen version, you can find you have Java. Where you have stored the file, you have stored the file under the following location. User, lib, JVM, you have stored the ls, you have open JDK here. Here you have a bin folder. Under the bin folder, we have yesterday we have created a file. Okay, this is the name of the file. The sample file, sample.java and sample. You can find the file here, the same file. Okay, so this is the way by which whenever you need, you can make use of the instance by starting the stopped instance. Okay, now what we are going to do? Now let I show how to create a S3 storage. Now let me keep the instance as if. Okay, we can do some other thing on top of it laterly. Let me go and create a S3 storage. How to create a storage? Go to services. Go to services. Click service. Click on S3. Under storage, you can find S3. Click on S3. Now there are two options, old console and new console. Let me move on to this old console. Switch to old console. Okay. So here, click on switch to old console. Now you can find this is the console window for your Amazon S3. Now these are all you can create a bucket. Let me create a bucket. I assign a name to the bucket as a test bucket. Test. So let I create a bucket. Create. So you can find that the bucket name needs to be unique. Being we have already bucket by name test. Let I make it unique by typing simply test 66 any number to make it unique. Then we click on create. Yes, now we can find the bucket is created here. Okay, we can find the bucket created. Test 66 bucket is created. So these are all the properties associated with the bucket. Okay, so here the bucket can be used for static web hosting. It can simply act as Git and GitHub version controlling. Okay, you can specify the lifecycle rule for the bucket as I told. You can add a rule. You can apply the rule to the old bucket. For example, so here that what we have discussed. You store the initial data to this bucket. Laterly, you transit the data to infrequent access after 30 days. Laterly, you move the data after 6 days to Glacier, and you permanently delete after somewhat 425 days like thing. Okay, Once you set, this is the bucket rule that will be followed. Day 0 at the July today, you object is uploaded, and after 30 days, the rule will transit the object to a infrequent access, under which you need to pay less. And after 60 days, it can be archived to the Glacier. You will still need to pay very, very less, and it can be retained there according to your requirement. After that, you can delete the object. So these are all the ways by which you can specify these life cycle rules. Okay. Now what we are going to do is, I am going to load an object and I am going to share the object to you. Without having access to this cloud account, you people can able to access the object. So now step 1, I have created a bucket. Next, what I am going to do, click on this bucket. Click on the bucket, it will take you to the bucket. Now the bucket is empty. I am going to upload an object to a bucket. Here I am going to upload an image to the bucket. Let I go on upload. Okay. Click actions. Okay. In this you can find a option called upload. You can find an option called upload. Click add files. Let me add some file from this particular picture. Okay, let me choose some picture. Let me draw some picture. Let me share some picture. No issue. Okay. Let I draw some picture and I will share you the picture. I am going to open a page. So let me share the same thing itself. Okay. Let me save us. Let me say it as a JPJ. Let me say it as a test in the desktop. Now I am going to upload this picture now. Okay, this is a text picture. Add the file. So in the desktop, I had a picture by name test. Yes. Simply click on open. Now the test.jpg is of size 100 KB. You can click on start upload. You can find the status. It got transferred from my desktop into this Amazon bucket. Now you can find the test bucket containing this test.jpg. You simply click on the property. Now you can find the URL. So this is the URL. Test.jpg is the URL that I need to share to you. Copy the URL and open a new web browser and type the URL. What happened here is, it will display the content, but it is throwing an error. Why so? Because if you have uploaded anything to your bucket, by default, those objects that you have uploaded into the bucket, by default, it will be private in nature. If you want to make it access to others, you want to make it public, simply go to action and make public. That's all. Okay. Now you can find the status is made public. Now if I open the same thing, okay, the same URL, if I type enter, now you can find this particular object that I uploaded is appearing here. You can also test the same thing. What I am going to do is, I will share you this URL. You open your web browser in your system and try to check. Copy. I am sharing you. Here in the chat box, you simply type this and try to open in your web browser. You check it. Kaushik. Yes. Did you got that? You want to get the same thing? Yes. Good case. So, okay. You please careful with the capital letter and small letter. This is the URL. So whether Makesh, everyone can have a good. Kaushik, Kiran, Makesh, and Mohan. So did you have an account with cloud? No. Whether you have logged in into the cloud? No. Here what we did, simply what we did is, I have an account, I uploaded a data in my account, I simply share the URL, and based upon that you can able to access that. This is the advantage of going for this cloud. Okay. Let us share another thing, a document. Let us share the document associated with our curriculum, and let me check. Okay, whether you can able to download and read the document. Now I am going to upload a document. Click on upload, add a file. I am having my document under the following location: AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate. Simply click on open and start upload. It is a big document. Yes, within a second it got uploaded. Okay, now I am making this document to be a public. Click on make public. Yes, okay. Once I upload the document, then if you click on the properties, you can find a URL for the document. Okay, you can find a URL for the document. So I share the URL. Simply you can download the document from my cloud. Okay. It will prompt you, download. Simply if you click on save, it will be downloaded. Anything, you can upload anything on top of it. Okay, now you try this. You can also upload. What I did is upload. You try with this. I had shared the same URL in the chat box. You please kindly try with that. If you can able to download the document.
Raman, how many files we can upload into each bucket?
It is your choice. A single file can be of size 5 TB. You can upload n number of files. There is no restriction.
Okay.
If you have more uploads, then you need to pay accordingly. You want to pay according to your uploads. How much of size that it is occupying, accordingly you need to pay for it.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Yes? Is it clear?
Yeah, we are able to download.
Yeah, you can able to download. Good. So here, apart from that, you can do lot of things. Yes, you can't use a dynamic upload. Here in this case, if it is a bucket, it support only static upload. You can find a property here. It support a static upload, static web hosting only, Mohan. It won't support a dynamic web hosting. It support only static web hosting. That will be covered in our curriculum. How to make this static web hosting, how to get a DNS, how to configure DNS for your website, everything will be discussed. Next, what I am going to do, so this is a simple example. If you want to download, yes, that is possible. Click on the bucket. You want to download this, click on, simply go to action, click on download. Okay, a download menu will appear, simply click download, that's all. It will be downloaded in your screen. Okay, so you can download and you can save that. This is the way by which you can upload or you can download anything in your bucket. So apart from that, you can do a lot of things. Now what I am going to do, now I had yesterday, I had configured a machine, I have created a Ubuntu machine in my yesterday I had created a Ubuntu instance on Amazon. Then I had installed Java. Okay, that I had shown how to compile Java. Today, what I am going to do is I am going to configure this machine as a web server. I am going to configure this machine as a web server. For new participants, I am going to repeat how to create an instance and how to connect with the instance. So many of the people didn't attend yesterday's session, so I am going to let you know how to create a Ubuntu instance. This is my desktop. I am having a Windows machine only. This is my desktop. This is my desktop. Now I am going to launch a Ubuntu machine in our Amazon data center. Okay, click on here. You can find the number of running instances 1. After I launch, it will be showing 2. Let me first click on launch. This time let me choose Amazon Linux. Click on Amazon. Okay. So here we need to choose the instance type. The first step, I am choosing the operating system. Okay, I am choosing the operating system. Next, I am choosing the hardware for my operating system. You go through the video of yesterday's session, you will have a very in-depth discussion. So just I am going overview. In this general purpose F2 micro, it is assigned with 1 microprocessor and 1 GB of RAM. Next, I am going to launch the number of instance, configure instance detail. Next, in terms of storage, it is 8 GB storage. Next, I am going to assign a name for my instance. The name for my instance is name. I am going to assign a web server. Okay, web server 1. Next, I am going to configure a security group. The security group is a firewall. Being I am going to configure a web server, what I need, apart from my SSH connection, I need a connection for this HTTP port. Okay, yesterday we have discussed about this port, HTTP port from anywhere. Now review on launch. Launch. Now I need to select a key. The key pair that I am going to make use of it, Mala. Now I launch the instance. This is the way by which you can create a computer in a cloud. Now you can view your computer is creating web server 1. Now you can make a connection with the computer and you can configure an application on top of it. Yesterday I had configured a language, a Java language, and run the program. And now I am going to configure a web server and show to you how to, you can configure anything as if that you are working with a real physical machine. Okay, the machine is now in this running state. Now if you click on this machine, it will let you know the property of the machine. Let me make a connection with the machine. So simply right click, copy the DNS address. You just open a new URL and type the DNS address. Being the machine is a raw machine, it doesn't display anything here. The page isn't working. That is the thing that it is displaying. After configuring a web server and after loaded a index.html, what content that we have specified in index.html will be loaded here. Okay, let me connect to the machine using PuTTY. Create a new session. Let me connect, paste, SSH, authentication. To authenticate using this key, yes, open. The default username is here EC2-user. This is the default username. Huh? Number note. Okay, now this is our instance, normal instance. Okay, now I am going to configure this as a web server. What is the command? First you want to issue sudo yum update. This is the machine that I launched in the Amazon data center, not on my computer. Okay, the thing that you are seeing is from my computer, where currently I am in Madurai. I got connected to the data center, that is US data center. I am working with that machine. Okay, so please go through the yesterday's session that I am going to share to you after today's class. You continue, first you view the first day and continue with the today's session, you will be very clear. Now I updated. The command to install this server is, I am going to configure web server. First, let I check the service. The name of the server, HTTPD status. Now it shows web server not yet configured, unrecognized service. Let I add a service. Let I configure a service. Yum install HTTPD. I am configuring a web server, Apache web server. This is the command. Now, if you type service name status, we can find HTTP is stopped. Initially, it throws that there is no HTTP. Once this web server has been configured, then it is saying that it is stopped. Now, to start the service name start. Service HTTP start. Now, you can check the service is running. Status of the service is running. Now, what I am going to do, I am going to create a small web page. Okay, I am going to create a small web page. Let me create a web page with the following content: HTML, body, BG color equals green. Okay, header 1. Welcome to web server 1. You close the header, you close the body tag, you close the HTML tag. Now I am going to okay. So here I am going to configure. I had configured this web server. I am going to create the index.html page where I need to create cd under where you will be having a www. You can find under www. You will be having a HTML. Okay, under HTML. So you want to create index.html page. So you can find nothing will be here. You create the index.html. Vi index.html page. Under that index.html page, insert, and you can insert the content here. Okay, here you have created a small static web page which displays you welcome to web server. Copy and move to the location. Simply right click. Now HTML BG color welcome to website. Escape : WQ to save the file. Now it is ready. Now if you move to the web server and simply initially before configuring this as a web server, when you open that URL, it shows that the page isn't working. If you again refresh it, now this welcome to web server 1 will be displayed. Now the normal machine now configured as a web server. This is the way you can configure database server, application server, anything, as if that you are working in a here. All the activity that I did is in the Ubuntu instance where I launched the instance. My instance is running in the following data center. You can make a check with the data center. It is running with the US East data center, which is in North Virginia. Where currently I am? I am currently working in a Windows machine, Windows 10 laptop. Currently I got connected to Windows 10 laptop. Now I am in Madurai, which is in Tamil Nadu. Using this internet connection, I made a connection to this data center, Amazon data center, under which I have launched the instance, and actually I am sitting in front of it. But as if as that I am sitting in front of the Ubuntu instance, I can able to do all the activity on top of the instance from my computer itself. Okay, this is my computer screen. This is my Ubuntu screen which I launched here. So I think so you now aware how to create an instance and how to store data, everything. This is as being it is a sample session. I am giving you some basic concepts associated. In our yesterday's discussion, I have discussed about some of the fundamentals of cloud. What is cloud? What's the difference between what is cloud computing? What's the difference between this public cloud and private cloud? Then we have discussed something about this architecture of Amazon data center, Amazon data center architecture. Okay, and we have discussed about how to get a instance, create a computer in a cloud, and how to after creation of the computer, how to connect with the computer, everything that we have discussed. Today, continuation in our Sunday session, we have started with the concept of storage and the different types of storages. In this perspective, we have discussed about S3. In yesterday's session, we have discussed about EBS. What I am going to do, I am going to share you the videos of both sessions, the Saturday session and today's session, Sunday session. I had already shared you my profile. Okay, currently I am a project manager. I am also doing this training as a freelancer. So far I have given training to around 100 plus workshops. Okay, I think so. Each and everyone may have a glance to view my profile. If not else, I will show you my profile. This is my profile. I am a certified professional for Oracle. I am a certified professional for EMC, VMware Data Center, VMware Cloud, Amazon Cloud, and Big Data Cloud. Big Data. Okay. So these are all my expertise. These are all my international certifications, and these are all some of the batches that I handled for corporate, for Singapore, Wipro, Accenture, Inotix, IBM. Okay, so yeah, and for Wipro Bangalore, SMI Chennai, and one for employees of Wipro working with Australia. Okay, so I had handled several batches. These batches are offline batches through webinar for people working with Wipro, Accenture, and I had a 5 days inline training program for Singtel, which I did somewhat around 4-5 months back. And these are all some of the assignments. My latest assignments is with Informatica Business Solutions in Bangalore, a 5-day workshop which covers big data and AWS. Okay, my current batch is with the Infosys, the data scientist batches. Okay, these are all some of my assignments associated with IT corporate. Okay, so this is my profile. If you are interested, you can call me at my number. So my contact number is, as I convey to you, you can reach me in this following number: 944 34 54 002. Another number 8870 32 4388. Okay, so +91 +91. It is your choice. Our course covers Amazon Solution Architect curriculum. It deals with both level. Okay, both associate level as well as to some extent in the professional level. Both the thing will be covered. Okay, the duration of course is 30 hours plus 5 hours. This 5 hours is for Linux, and if you want another additional 5 hours, this additional 5 hours is for VMware workstation. That is the concept of virtualization. This is devoted for Amazon Solution Architect. So the fees is 15,000. Yes, everything. I am a Cloudera certified professional. Okay, I will in our curriculum. Would you be able to make a presentation loading Cloudera information of Hadoop? Now it is not. It took minimum half an hour to do that. Murad, if you want, you can contact me separately. In this number, I will do you the needed things. Okay, Murad. Now it is not the time. I need minimum 30-40 minutes to do this activity. If you want, you can call me separately. You can do anything. Our curriculum will tell you how to install a Hadoop cluster using this Amazon. Okay, so this is the slot we are planning for weekends. Weekends on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday it will be evening 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. 2.5 hours. Roughly plus or minus 30 minutes according to the convenience of the participant. On Sunday 11 a.m. to 1 noon. Okay. So this is the time schedule. Okay, probably it will be 11 to 1, 1:30. Most probably 5 hours per week. Totally run into 6 weeks. This is the agenda. This is the fees. If you are interested, you feel free to call me for further clarification. We also provide assistance for your resume preparation. So to accommodate some projects scenario like use cases, what you can do with. Also, we support for your international certifications, Prometric certifications, by providing the current terms and giving training on top of it. And third thing, we also assist you in interview preparations. While if you opt for interview, in case of any reference come across us, we will also refer for that. Okay, these are all the services that we can do on top of it, our curriculum. So it is time to conclude today's session. Before winding up today's session, if you have any doubt, please let me know. Kiran, Keshav, Kausik. Kausik, I will share you the video. Okay? Makesh, yes, Makesh.
Raman, can you please describe the difference between internal and elastic store once? 1 and 2.
Hello?
EBS and instant store.
EBS and instant store.
Just briefly.
Yeah. Instance, so if you launch a instance in a cloud, okay, the instance will be launched in a physical, there will be a physical server. On top of the physical server, they will be having some virtualization software. The virtualization software used by Amazon is Citrix. Then on top of it, your instance will be launched. Okay. If you want to assign some storage for your instance, there are two ways. Your physical server may have a CPU. Your physical server will have a hard disk. Okay. Here. Apart from that, you will be having a separate storage box here in your data center. You may have multiple physical servers. This is a data center. You may have some storage box. EMC, NetApp storage. Here too you have a bunch of hard disk. Okay, so the hard disk associated with your instance, the hard disk associated with the instance can be either an instance store hard disk or it can be a EBS volume, elastic block store. So if you assign the hard disk, if you take some portion of hard disk capacity and you mapped it with the hard disk of your instance. Here this is your instance. Instance is nothing but your virtual machine. Then this is called as instance store. If you create a hard disk on a separate storage box and if you mapped this hard disk here, then it is called as EBS. So the difference between instance store is, if you store data here in instance store, if you terminate the instance in instance store, the data also will be terminated. Whereas in EBS, the data will be retained. Okay, you have data separately, your instance separately. If you terminate the instance, your data will be remains there. Laterly, you can create another instance and you can attach the data. Storing of data in EBS is similar to storing of data in your external hard disk. This is the basic difference between instance store and EBS. Yes? Magesh? Any clarification?
Thank you, it's clear now.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, it's clear.
Yeah. Okay, so here we have so far concluded 2 sessions, 2 classes, class 1 and class 2, and our next class will be on coming Saturday. So if you want to continue with this batch, you can enroll with the batch. Out of this 15,000, you can pay it in 2 installments, 7,500, 7,500 plus. We will provide you with the document, all the associated documents, along with some sample quiz related questions, so that for your exam preparations, we will share that questions also. And along with that, we also provide you some interview questions for each and every topic. Okay. So it is your choice. If you want, you can call me at the following number 94345400. I am ready to serve you and ready to answer you in case of any concern. Once again, thank all. Kiran, Kesav, okay, Kaushik. I will share you the video, Kaushik. No need to worry about it. Kaushik, I appreciate your efforts. Okay, so video will be shared to you. Thanks Magesh, thanks Mohan, thanks Kiran, Kesav, Murad, Praveen, Rajagopal and other participants. Thank you for your patience. Yes, Magesh. Hello, Magesh. I am not audible. Please can you talk this time? Thank you. Murad, you can call me at this number if you want any further clarification. Thanks a lot. I will share you the video of both sessions.